All right, now that truck is out of the way, thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh, of course he's going the same way as me. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have been super busy and I've been wanting to film this video for a while. A lot of people have asked me to talk about this. And I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I'll do it today. I have a lot of errands to run. I'm just leaving the car dealership now. And I'm like, you know what? I'll film it in the car. We're going to have like a little car chit chat. That's what we're going to call it today. Car chit chat. So this is a video that a lot of people have asked me to make, and a lot of people are very interested in knowing about what the process is like, about applying to be a flight attendant, and what my interview process was like. So I wanted to sit down and talk with you guys today just a little bit about that. So I applied right on my airline's website. It took me about 45 minutes to do the application. I did submit a resume, but for some reason I feel like I didn't have to submit a cover letter. I don't even think that it had asked me for that. So if you're someone who struggles with that, I don't think that all airlines require a cover letter, but if they do, I would recommend sending one in just for something extra, you know. I submitted my application, and about 10 minutes later, I got the assessment. I'm like, wow, that was super fast. I wasn't expecting that, because usually it takes like a day or two or a couple days, maybe even a week to get the assessment. I know a lot of people have waited a lot longer than that. So I was genuinely surprised and really excited that I got the assessment so quick. I took the assessment online. It took me maybe like 25 minutes, half an hour, and it was timed, so that did make it a little more stressful. But it was just like the basic assessment, like get to know you, how would you react to different situations, agree, disagree, like that kind of assessment. I'm sure a lot of you have done that before, especially if you've applied to other airlines. So I submitted my assessment and didn't hear anything back for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. So roughly a month later is when I got my invitation to come to the interview. I believe the interview was like 2 weeks after I got that, so I did have to kind of make a late request off of work, which I was actually able to do fairly easy, which was really nice, very appreciative of that. So my interview was going to be in Detroit, Michigan, and I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, so I ended up driving. It was about a 4-hour drive. My boyfriend and I went together. And in the weeks leading up to the interview, I did a lot of research about like what the interview was going to be like, what kind of questions they were going to ask, like just basically how the interview was set up, just so I could have like a better idea and make sure I was prepared as possible. One of the best resources that I found online was Glassdoor. I feel like for most airlines, if you look up like what the interview was like on there is a lot of helpful tips, and a lot of people will write like, oh, they asked me this question, this question. It basically just goes over with you all like the different questions they're going to ask you, what the interview process was like. And that was actually very helpful. I felt very prepared for the interview in the end. So we drove to Michigan. It took us about 4 hours to get there, checked into my hotel, and I could tell there was a lot of other people there for the same reason. And I actually met a few other people who were interviewing while I was there. So that night before the interview, I wanted to go to bed super early, but of course, like my nerves got the best of me. I wasn't really able to sleep, so I ended up staying up and just like reviewing some more things on Glassdoor, just making sure I was completely prepared for the next morning. That morning, I got up around, I think like 3 a.m. to be honest, and I started getting ready. I did wear a nice suit. I thought I looked pretty cute, not to toot my own horn, but I thought I looked nice. I'm going to insert a picture for you guys. I ended up getting ready at like 3. I think I was ready by 4, and I went downstairs. I wanted to be there early because the earlier you check in for my airline, the earlier it seems that you got out of the interview. So I was like, oh, I want to make like a good impression and be there a little bit early. So I was downstairs by like 4, and I believe check-in opened at 6, so I did have to wait about 2 hours. But even though I went down 2 hours early, there were already a couple other people in line with me, and then people started to trickle in shortly after that too. So I would say by like 4:30, there was probably already like 50 people in line, and then by 5:30, there were like 400 people in line. I'm telling you, I think there was like 500 people at the interview with me, and when that check-in opened at 6, like that hotel was packed. Seriously, the line was all the way out the door outside. So you want to make sure that you get there fairly early and give yourself enough time to be in line and get through the check-in process. So around 6 a.m. the check-in process opened, and the first thing that they do is check your required documents that they asked you to bring. I think for my interview that I had to bring my passport, which if you want to be a flight attendant, you have to have a passport. That's like the number one most important item you have to have. So I do suggest that if you are applying for a flight attendant position, that you do go get your passport in advance. They also checked, I believe, my high school transcripts, my social security card, and I did have to bring the invitation to the interview with me as well. So after they check all of that, you go check in and you get a little number and like a name card which has a color on it, which will be important in the next part of the video. So they take you into a room with like all the 500 people, and they just go over with you like the history of my airline. They talked about the pay scale, what your days off are going to be like. They explained the difference between like a guaranteed day off and a movable day off, which was nice because those are some things that I didn't know going into this interview. So that probably took about like an hour to 2 hours of the interview, and I actually really enjoyed it. I found it very interesting, and it's very informative, so make sure that you do pay attention. And after that, they split you up by the colors on your little name tag, which is why I said pay attention to your color. So I think there was red, blue, and green. So they split us up into 3 different groups, and we went into 3 different rooms. I was blue, I believe, and they took us into like another ballroom, and I would say maybe like 150 seats, and they would call you up row by row. And when it was your turn to go up, you would wait in line, and then when they called you, you would go up, you would walk over to the middle of the room, pick a question up out of the bowl, and you would read it in front of the other interviewees, and you would have to read the question and then answer your question. And for my interview specifically, they had asked you to put the question face down on the table, and I'm not 100% sure, it's just like speculation, but I do think that there is some truth to this, that if you don't follow the directions like they ask you to, that you do get sent home, because I think they are looking to see if you can follow directions. I'm not saying that's 100% true, but just to be on the safe side, please follow the directions exactly how they tell you to, because that is an important factor. And I'm going to be really honest with you guys. My question was, name a time that you experienced a rude guest and how did you handle the situation? And to be honest, I was super nervous, and I do not think my answer was that good. Like, after I sat down from answering my question, I was like, oh my gosh, I just blew it. Like, seriously, that's how I felt. I felt like I talked too fast, and I felt like I didn't even answer the question like the way I'd wanted to. I felt like my nerves just got the best of me, and I was like sitting there like, wow, like my one chance, and I blew it. I was like, Hunter, are you kidding me? So then after everyone goes, that probably takes like an hour and a half too. Everyone finishes up and they say, all right, like there's like 6 judges in there. We'll call them judges. I don't know what to call them, like the interviewers, I don't know, the judges. They go outside and deliberate for like 5 to 10 minutes, and they come back in and they say, all right, if you hear your name, please, or if you hear your number, please stand up. They called like 50 or 60 different numbers, and mine was not one of them. And I was like, oh man. So my heart was like really beating. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is something I want so bad, and I blew it on this fishbowl question. Like, why, Hunter, why? And they were like, all right, if you heard your name, come with us to a separate room. And so nothing happened with the rest of us that were sitting down still. So I'm like wondering like what's going on. Are they going to come in and send us home? And then finally someone comes back in and they're like, congratulations, you guys have all made it to the next round of the interview. I think my jaw seriously dropped. I think I was sitting there like this. Like, I was so shocked that I had made it to the second round. I was like, I don't know what they saw in me, but I am forever thankful that they saw whatever they did, because seriously, this is the best job ever. I couldn't ask for any better. I love this career. Like, it has given me so many opportunities that I wouldn't have in another job, and like the quality of life is just amazing. So after the fishbowl question, they give you like almost a 2-hour lunch break, I'm pretty sure. So it is a long day. Like, think about it. Like, everything we've done so far, it's been a long day. So I went to lunch with a couple people from my a couple of the other people who were interviewing for the job, and it was really nice because we were able to like sit down and talk and just reflect on the day and like what we expected from the face-to-face interview. So we come back in, they bring us back into the original ballroom that we started the day in, and they say, all right, you guys are going to be doing your one-on-one interviews, and they call you in the order of which you checked in. So I'm like, oh, like, I was number 3 to check in. So like, I was in the first group that got called. So I believe they called numbers 1 through 4 first, or maybe, I think it was like 1 through 5 actually. Anyway, they pull you out in the hallway and they have you sit down outside of another ballroom, and I'm waiting there to be called in, and finally it's my turn to be called in. I'm like shaking, scared. I'm so nervous. I'm like, all right, I gotta pull this together because I didn't do my best on the fishbowl, and I'm like, I just gotta get it together. So they sit me down with one of the recruiters and another flight attendant, and it's actually funny because I phoned with him several times since my interview, and he's really nice, but I was really intimidated by him at the first interview. But they ask you, I'm not gonna lie, the questions were not that hard. They were mostly like situation-based questions, like what would you do in this situation, or name a time that you've experienced this or done this. And I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but I felt like my interview went really well. I felt like I was more calm. They were very laid back, very friendly. They made me feel at home there. So that was really helpful. And they asked me probably like 7 to 10 different questions. And I thought that it went well. I really do. I thought I did okay. So after that, they shake your hand, they say thank you, and they send you to the deliberation room, which it kind of sounds scary, but there were 2 other recruiters in the deliberation room, and they kind of like calmed you down, like relaxed you. They talked about like how do you think you did and stuff. So that was nice. And I want to say there's probably like 10 other people in there with me, and they called us in a group of 4. And I remember this vividly. So it was myself, Erica, Michaela, and Sharon. And it's funny because I'm actually really close friends with all 3 of them now, and I love them to death. So they pulled us out into the hallway, and they're like, let's actually step outside of the hotel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're definitely getting sent home. Like they're literally taking us outside of the hotel. So they call us out there, and we're just like waiting there to like hear what they say. And they're like, guys, like thank you for coming today, but like we're really, really sorry. Like it's so hard to tell you guys this. And like my heart sank. I'm like, oh, dang, like I thought I had it. And they're like, we're really sorry, but you guys are gonna have to go to 4 weeks of training. And I'm like, and like they started crying. I'm just like in shock again. I'm like, what? Like I got the job? So that was like crazy. Like that was one of the best moments of my life, like hearing those words. Sorry, I don't mean to like touch my face, but hearing that, it was just like so like I did it. I was so nervous about this interview for so long, and this is something I've wanted so bad for such a long time now. Like finally all this hard work paid off, and like I'm here. I just got the job. Like it was so surreal and amazing. It was like so worth everything, all the stress that I went through. So after that, they took us back inside to another room, and we just filled out like some pre-hire paperwork. I think they did our fingerprints, and then we had to go to another separate room for drug testing. So pretty standard like job stuff. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. So once I finished up my drug testing, I went back downstairs, and they're like, all right, you're free to go. Like within the week, you'll receive an email from the company saying about all your different training dates, your background check. So that was pretty awesome. And then I think like 3 days later, I got my pre-hire workbook, and it's just like, and it was just some stuff I had to fill out before training, get to know the company, get to know where we fly, our different airplanes, like emergency stuff about the planes, like emergency equipment. So that was really interesting. And then you do have to complete a background check. It is a fairly long process to do that. I believe it took me like 2 or 3 weeks. And my background check came back like 3 days before training. So like right in time, because you have to have your background check before training for obvious reasons. So that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, overall, the process was not bad. I think from the time I applied, from when I went to training, it was about 2 months. So I waited 1 month for the interview, and then after the interview, I waited another month for training. So it really did go quick, and like, it is like, I can't even believe that, like, I've been here for so long already. It's been like a whirlwind of like different trips and emotions and traveling and getting used to this lifestyle. Like, it's been crazy. So I do want to talk about some tips for you guys if you are applying. The first one is you want to look the part. You want to look prim and proper and polished. You want to really look like you are making an effort. So make sure that you have fitting clothes, not too tight, not too loose. You don't want to have like a baggy suit or a baggy like blazer or anything. You really want to make sure that, like, if you're a girl, like, your hair is done good, your makeup is done good, and even if you're a guy too and you're like into makeup and stuff, definitely go for it. I totally would say like yes to wearing makeup. Guys, I definitely recommend wearing a suit. If you do have a beard, just make sure it is trimmed and looks nice and polished. Ladies, I do recommend that you wear your hair up, and I do recommend that you wear like the red lipstick just to add a little pop of color, because you do want to look the part of a flight attendant, and red lipstick is like the flight attendant stereotype, I feel like. The second thing that I want to talk to you guys about is just try to stay calm and be relaxed. I told you guys for my fishbowl, I felt like I talked way too fast. Like, looking back, it is serious, but it's not that serious. Like, you don't have to be worried. They're not there to make fun of you. Don't be so stressed out. I know it is going to be a very stressful day, and believe me, I was beyond stressed at my interview. But just try to stay calm, be relaxed, and don't speak too fast. Just be relaxed. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Just have that mindset. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to give it my all, you know. Third thing, this one's very important. At the interview, if there is downtime or you're waiting around, do not be on your cell phone. I saw so many people pull out their phone, and I'm just like, no, like, do not do that. That's like one of the number one things. Like, and believe me, I'm addicted to my phone, and I was able to put it away for the entire day, so I know you guys can too. And make sure that you're like outgoing and you do talk to people. I really do think the recruiters are looking to see that you can like go out of your comfort zone and make friends and meet new people. So make sure that you're not just like standing there like like shy in the corner. Like, really try to go out of your comfort zone and meet new people while you're there. And my last thing is just have fun. Like, looking back, that was one of the best days of my life. And I know it is different because I did get the job, and there are some people, and I'm going to be honest, there are some people that aren't going to get the job, but don't let that discourage you. Like, keep trying. I know so many flight attendants who have applied almost 10 times, like, seriously. Do not stop trying. Do not be discouraged. You can do this. Like, you can do anything you set your mind to. As cliche as that sounds, like, you just have to have the right mentality about it. But overall, my flight attendant interview process was a great experience. I would totally recommend it to anyone. If you are someone who feels like you can't do it, or if it's not right for you, I just recommend trying it out. Like, there's no harm in trying, seriously. All right, guys, that was just a little, like, introduction video about, like, my flight attendant interview process. If there's any specific questions or anything else that you want to know that I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to message me on any of my social medias. I will definitely respond and try to help you as much as I can. I'm about to pull back into my apartment complex, and the maintenance guy is there today fixing our blinds, so I don't want to continue this vlog in front of him because he's probably going to be like, what the are you doing? So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. My next video is going to be about flight attendant training, so make sure you subscribe and turn on my post notifications so you don't miss that video. I'm hoping to have that up maybe in the next couple days. I am on call tomorrow, so if they don't use me tomorrow, I'm going to film that video and hopefully post it within the next 2 days or so. But if they do use me, I'm going to post a trip vlog. So make sure you stick around for that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.